And here we are. It's To Be Fair, hosted by Ehryn. That's me. And the Pac-Man shirt. And of course, we are here with the lovely Lisa, as usual.
Hello, hello, and I'm busy doing nothing, as it says on my shirt.
So nothing's changed with you ever.
No, not at all. Not in the least.
Ugh. Viewers and listeners probably won't notice, but the viewers will definitely notice the background of mine has changed yet again.
Yes, but I like it.
Oh my god! Also, this is
I don't know who you're showing that to.
everyone.
Oh, you should move it this way.
I should.
There you go.
It's the
Too
the
far.
ring light. It's the ring light.
There you go.
But it's Ariel.
Yes, I saw that. I love that. Where did you get
And I
that?
think it says part of your world. I got this at Walmart actually.
Oh, nice.
I've always longed to be part of your world.
Oh, well, aren't you lucky? Because here you are.
I've seen worse.
Yeah, me too. It's usually
Uh,
still looking in the mirror, but
no shame.
never.
Speaking of shame, are you ever ashamed of anything?
Yeah.
Like, what would you say you're probably like most ashamed about? Unless it's
Currently,
yeah, okay.
um, my lack of like motivation. Like I'm so lazy. Like I just feel grossly lazy.
And that
And I
makes
guess I don't know. I don't maybe no, that's not shame. Maybe that's just like
guilt.
meh. Yeah, yeah. Um,
Well, I suppose better way
gosh.
to do this is how do we define shame?
Man.
What would the definition of shame be? Let's get the actual um, definition here. Okay, shame is a noun, is a painful feeling of humiliation or distress caused by the consciousness of wrong or foolish behavior. And then if you use it as a verb, is like of a person or action or a situation, make someone feel ashamed, like to shame them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I guess both of them kind of fit into the overall theme.
Oh
Like
yeah.
because I feel the weight of shame often for just some of the silliest things. It can feel like the heaviest weight on my psyche, if you will. Even if it's the tiniest thing. Like if I accidentally told you a fiblet of something, like when I cancel
Yeah.
a recording session and I say something when it was really just I just wanted to watch TV.
First of all, that's silly that you feel like you have to not tell me that you just want to watch TV because that's all I do.
No, I'm just saying. So like those are
No,
things
I know.
like I feel ashamed that I was so um it's because I don't know how to adult and then I feel ashamed of that.
I don't either. I
No,
feel so like I guess so now to answer that question, I guess I don't know, I don't want to say I feel ashamed, but I have some shame for not being able to be independent.
sure. Now
I
elaborate
hate that if my current um life didn't work out, that I would literally have to go right back to my parents' house.
and start from point A again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it feels like you were stretching out all that accomplishment was going up, 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 and then all of a sudden, whoosh.
Yep.
So what do you think you're missing that other people aren't?
I'm just super impulsive. I've always had a hard time with self-control and impulsivity. Like, I mean, that's why my credit is in the crapper.
Same girl.
I have $25,000 in school debt.
I mean, I filed bankruptcy last winter, and
I was going to, but it doesn't take care of any school debt. So
it doesn't. You're right. You're right. So it's like it would actually probably make it more complicated for you.
yeah, it's stupid.
It's
My mom is
unfortunate.
still paying some of my bills, and then I just pay her because I'm not responsible enough to actually go on the online or get a mail order, a money order, and actually do it myself.
Mhm.
That's that's where
Yeah,
my shame is.
she just either pays it on her card or sends a check.
Yep, and then I give her cash.
Yeah.
I'm almost 40 years old. I should be able to pay a mother effing bill.
I agree. And have you ever gotten to those points where you do pay that bill and you're like, you feel so proud of that
Yeah,
accomplishment? Like, it's something, and I feel like I'm not allowed to be proud of it because I should just be normally doing that. I should just be like everyone else, and this is just what we do. There's no feeling. You shouldn't feel proud that you are adulting. You should just do it. Get back in line and just keep filling the honeycombs for the queen. The queen is capitalism.
yes. I, however, have, even though I still have shame or feel shame for that, I've also come to an understanding with myself that I am not programmed to be a 9 to 5 person.
Yeah.
I, and that doesn't give me the excuse to be frivolent and just be whatever. Like, I'm not using that as a justification, but I don't know what it is, but I feel like 9 to 5ers are more responsible.
I'm a 9 to 5er now, and I'm not.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. Like, I feel like I'm living in a world where I don't belong with people who function differently. I, but at the same time, I don't feel like I'm going to work when I go to work. What I do, I have a big appreciation for. So like, it doesn't overwhelm me to have to go like it did at managing a restaurant or managing hotels.
Yeah.
That was overwhelming because it's just like, ugh, monotonous. But like the stuff I do now is a little bit more rewarding for my own inner self, that I
Sure.
don't feel like I'm going to work because it's all part of who I am, as part of like what I like to do with the podcast, talking, helping, inspiring. Um,
Mhm.
I, but that being said, I think sometimes I put out a persona out there and people see that persona and they think I'm supposed to constantly be there. Like I'm supposed to be the picture of mental health recovery for them. And like, if I fall, then I disappoint them. Like if I act um, with toxic behaviors, then I'm a hypocrite to them. And they no longer trust like that's what I get. And my anxiety just boils up because
Yeah.
I have been acting very childish about a certain situation here in my community. I think I
Yeah.
told you, right? Yeah,
Yes.
you know
If
about
it's
it.
the same one, then
Yes,
yes.
it's the same one. The one that you were like basically trying to therapize me with and using your
I
newfound.
and I
Uh,
did a good job until you caught on,
you
which
did,
took
yeah.
longer than I thought, actually.
I will say, I think I was about to call you out on it, but I was like, I was gonna see how much further I could fall into that, and you did good. You did very
Thank
good.
you. I learned a lot last week. Like,
But, um, so I try really hard to stay balanced and not act like a brat or a bitch. That was my most recent TikTok video was my little. You could tell, right? Am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama. Am
but
I
you
the
are.
villain? No, I don't think I'm the
You're an
villain.
anti-hero.
Yeah, I would like to think that I'm an anti-hero because I am selfish, and that's something I really do try to work on, but it is still a fact about me. Um, but I do. I'm not what I once was. I'm not. I I like to say that I am a recovering narcissist. I spent a lot of time uh, because of my trauma deciding that I didn't. want to care about anyone else. I just wanted to get through this world the best way I could do that. And sometimes that meant stepping on people.
Right.
And I didn't care. But like that was the problem is though I did. Like I still felt guilty. I still felt ashamed of all my behaviors. But I had made myself believe that it was for the common good of me, if anything else. Because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the time to stop and wait for other people's feelings. I didn't have the time, the luxury of worrying about how other people felt because I could only deal with myself. You know, I could only
Yeah.
be responsible for myself. And I twisted that into the fact that I couldn't even care about other people's feelings when I was the cause of their bad feelings. Or maybe not the direct cause, but I had influenced their
It's a
bad.
vicious cycle.
Yes. And it's tough to catch yourself in those behaviors. When you do catch yourself in those behaviors, and at
Mm-hmm.
that moment you have to literally choke it down and admit that you were acting like a brat, a bitch, anything that you were literally like. And it doesn't matter because sometimes you can tell people that over and over and over again. You can apologize for yourself over and over and over again, but at some point those people are going to get exhausted by having to accept your apology all the time.
Yeah,
Because
because after a while, sorry is just a word.
mm-hmm,
If there's no
actions speak
action
louder.
attack. Yep.
And it's like I know I'm always working harder, and there are people that see that in me, but there are the people, some of the people that are closest to me. However, this whole battle and that other situation I was talking about is not a whole bunch of people that are close to me, essentially. Um, I don't absolutely need to be involved in that arena of people. It just happens to be kind of parallel with what I do.
Sure.
So we end up crossing streams.
So you guys, it's like a four-way stop, four-way yield. And no,
In a way, we both have the same mission in ways, but we don't exactly align on our routes.
fair. Same mission, different vision.
Yes. And so anyway, so I acted really foolish last week. Um, and yes, do I feel ashamed of it? Yes, I do. For me, not for the people involved. Um, because I'm not really sorry for my feelings on the matter.
Okay.
I'm only sorry for the behavior that it enabled me to have. That
That's
those
fair.
feelings. Because I'm allowed to share my opinion. I'm allowed to speak it out, but I don't necessarily have to hit people with it with a stick.
Like Rafiki in The Lion King. You
It's
just
exactly like, for some reason I feel like I have to go the most aggressive way to make change or to get my point heard, because it seems like not this whole organization that I'm speaking of, um like some of the people that were defending it in the situation were like, well, why don't you come and have a conversation instead of just having feelings about that? And I don't think these people understand that I did. Years ago, I was working with this organization to try, and they totally like disrespected me.
yeah.
And so and so now I guess my logic went to the point of, oh, well, they're not going to play with that way. I guess I'll try this route. Electricity.
So you were talking about feeling ashamed about it. So do you feel like the
Again,
toxic behavior goes to the shame, or
I think, well, it is, I mean, because it's obviously behavior because of how toxic I became in the time.
yeah,
It's clearly a trigger area for me. And I guess in the situation, I had been having conversations about the situation with other people and seeing their opinion. And these are people who usually think a little bit more on my idea too. And for the most part, they all agreed with me. And so I guess I felt validated to be able to go and act like this, and that I would have a whole bunch of people back me up. But it was so interesting because the moment that I did it, all the people that were really like agreeing with me were now a little, I guess, disappointed because of how I chose to go and do that behavior.
Because they know you're better than.
It's not just that. It was the fact that I I don't think that they didn't want to have the uh, what's that word?
Oh,
Confrontation of it all.
yeah.
They want to say their piece quietly off the record, but once it comes to actually like standing in the same place that you believe, stand in the place where you live.
No.
You know that song.
Of course I do.
I haven't heard that song in forever.
Well, no, you're gonna have to Spotify it.
I don't use Spotify. I miss Spotify, but I don't use Spotify.
You should.
I
It's
know.
amazing.
I share a iTunes account with a friend now. I don't like iTunes, but I'm getting used to it. I was a Spotify junkie.
I love Spotify. I prefer Pandora to Apple.
Okay, well none of these things are sponsoring us. So let's move on from
No,
that.
they're not. And yeah, it has nothing to do with our conversation.
So yeah,
So,
so I guess I will feel ashamed about the behaviors because these are the things I'm trying to work on. But it is clear that like this year my whole mission for, because I always give myself a challenge for a year, and this year is supposed to be trying to let go of anger and hatred I have towards people, and or like it, like memories, trying to let
mhm.
go of a lot of that stuff that is intoxicating.
Yeah,
um and so I it's hard. It's I When people say just let it go,
I
um
hate that. I hate that.
move on, um it, it sounds so great that those people have it all figured out.
But they don't.
I know, but I'm just saying is like, why is it easier for you to try and tell me to just let it go when you are a hypocrite?
Right.
Because the next thing that happens to you, do you just let it go? No, Elsa, we don't.
Well, that too, that's where like I've been working a lot on not being better at not comparing myself to other people. Like my experience is not your experience, even though it was the same experience,
Mhm, mhm.
And then like with a shame, I feel like the word ashamed or the word shame is always thought to be, it has to be this big catastrophic thing that you're ashamed of, and like you were saying, it could be just something small. And it doesn't have to be like, you know, huge, like, Mom, I stole your jewelry and pawned it to buy drugs. It doesn't have to be something catastrophic like that,
Yeah,
which may or may not have been something that I did at one time. But my conscience and my shame, I told her the same week that it happened. So, you know, funny things happen.
yeah. I mean, I guess I've just spent my life always feeling that way. I mean, my family made me feel that way. The person I lived with for 10 years, I don't think you knew them very well, but you knew a little bit of like
I knew
that.
of them. Yeah.
And I felt like they kind of put me in this whole thing of making me feel like if I made one of my wacky fashion choices back then, I
Mm-hmm.
would get unholy hell like thrown at me, like a whole bunch of shade thrown at me before I'd even walk out the door. Like, maybe you think that looks good, but no one else does. And then I would get into that whole point of like, I didn't care really what it was. I wasn't dressing for other people, but suddenly it was in my head, like that people were going to be saying things. And once that's in your head, You don't get that out.
No. That is a special kind of fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Is when someone specifically is like, "Oh, you might think that looks good, but blah blah blah." And it's like, even though you initially you don't, like you said, you don't, I'm not dressing for you, I'm dressing for me. But like you said, they put that little nugget and then all of a sudden you're like, are they looking at me? Are they judging me? Did I really make a mistake? And it sucks. That happens to me occasionally. Um, and I tend to get angry if it's something is said like that to me. Um, it doesn't happen very often because they've learned better. But yeah, I'm just like, well, I don't care. If you don't want to be seen in public with me, then don't. I'm not going to change who I am and what I do. But that's taken years to get to that point.
I know.
Years.
Like, and being the person I am now, and then I looking back at those times where I would let someone else's opinion of how I looked or whatever I did, and I would let it actually matter. Like now I look at it and it's like, if I would not be my complete self if I was around all those people anymore. And it's really sad to say that about this one the ex person I'm talking about, because I feel like there was so much good from that friendship that
Mm-hmm.
it's bad, and I just hate that some of this is that bad.
It's hard to outgrow relationships.
Mm-hmm.
It's that bittersweet. Even ugh, felt like a bug went in my nose. Sorry. Um, I it's my life. It's fine. Um, yeah, it's really hard to outgrow relationships, but then still try to keep in contact. And then it's like it's a weird like awkward friend zone
Sure.
feeling. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, I get exactly what you're saying.
Like it's just awkward. Like what do we talk about? Like how do we hang out with each other? Because our lives have nothing to do with one another, but
Yeah.
we still care about each other. Like thank God for Facebook sometimes.
Even though I have been contemplating getting rid of Facebook. Um, I know that I know that I could still manage all of our social media stuff without me having a personal Facebook. But even if having access to just managing it through for this I feel would bring me back there eventually. And I don't I'm not it's kind of like Marie Kondo. I'm not really finding joy with Facebook anymore. I find so much joy with TikTok.
Well,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and I still love Instagram, but Facebook, it's like I don't know if it ever was good. I don't think it's ever been bad. I think it's just how it's become. Are we literally just using it for us to share our opinion and to fight with people that you normally wouldn't fight with in person because it's safer behind your computer screen that way, or your phone screen,
Yeah.
but would you really behave like this in a public area with this person? Probably not.
Probably most certainly not.
Yeah. I mean, I've lost family members, friends over this whole thing that normally, like, but I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, what does that even matter? Like, why do I care what all these people really think of me and my opinion? Like, so because they decide they're going to announce they're unfriending me, or they're announce that they are going to unfollow me or mute me for 30 days. What are they trying to accomplish with that?
A reaction.
Exactly. But I want them to admit that.
That's an expectation. Expectations are roads to
Premeditated.
disappointment.
It's premeditated disappointment.
It's whatever I say it is. You don't know my life.
We're just gonna have a staring contest.
Mexican standoff.
But you're not Mexican.
It's not what my dad told me.
That's cultural appropriation.
How?
I don't know.
And we're back. But yeah, I mean, I guess
Do you have a Jedi Padawan braid? No, it's your earbuds. Okay.
I wish.
Does that,
I
you should
haven't look at well, you can't see it, but I have this little tiny
ducktail.
little tiny bun. I put my first little teeny messy bun in the other day. So excited.
My hair is getting thin.
Yeah,
I'm
you mentioned that. I'm sorry.
I'm not exactly thrilled by it, and it's really coming. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm not ready to say goodbye to it yet.
You better get some keeps.
I'm
Also
still
not sponsoring us.
I'm still only in my mid late 30s.
I have gray eyebrows in my eyebrows, so whatever.
These
We're
are not
getting
these are not the things I'm ashamed of, though.
No, me neither. I'm not a I'm not ashamed of most of I have less and less shame because I don't have time. I feel sorry for myself a lot, but I don't know if that's shame so much as just
I mean, I guess it really depends because what's that definition of shame again? It is a painful feeling of humiliation or distress caused by the consciousness of a wrong or foolish behavior.
okay, maybe I feel shame all the time then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, is my life just a big ball of?
Ball of shame. I mean, that's a little aggressive. Like I'm
Yeah,
proud of the things that I do. Some of the things.
sometimes the aggressive thing is the truth.
Yeah, you got a point there.
And
Like I'm super proud that I actually followed through and took that class.
yeah,
So excited about that. And I'm so excited that when my significant other didn't take it very seriously at first, I explained to him that this is very important to me and I would appreciate it if you actually got on board and supported me. And he did. And that was wonderful. I know.
that is so amazing.
One
That
time.
is so amazing.
Ugh.
Significant others. For the birds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't say I disagree with that, but
So, you got any recommendations of what you're into right now? Binge watching,
I'm
reading?
not reading. Well, I'm reading The Survival's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, I think is the name of it.
Okay.
Or a Zombie Survival Guide. I don't know. It's kind of the basis of where Zombieland came from.
Yeah.
It's only a half recommendation because I can't think of the whole title.
Sure.
Um, Me and the kids are watching American Horror Story Apocalypse,
Okay. That
which
was a
is
good
very.
season.
I haven't seen the whole season, and I haven't seen any of the season 9. So
Season 9 was 1984, right?
yeah,
Yeah, I haven't finished that one yet though, but I started the new American Horror Stories, the special series that
yep,
is one episodes and stuff instead of a full season of them.
yep.
So far it was pretty good. It had the murder house.
Oh, good.
We went back
Oh,
to
and
the
I highly, highly recommend the Fear Street trilogy.
Okay, I have not started watching those yet, but
Oh my God, you're gonna love them.
I'm glad they're all 3 out now. So I think I'm kind of thinking it might be this weekend. Yeah,
It's a great choice.
or maybe I'll watch one a night for this week or so. I don't know. I haven't decided.
Yeah.
My recommendation. Oh my gosh. I have been watching The Expanse.
Okay.
Have you ever seen it?
I don't believe I've seen any of that one.
It's a Prime show. It was originally a sci-fi show, but sci-fi canceled it, but Prime picked it up and rescued it, as these streaming services are doing for a lot of shows now.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because that is building expectations that are unrealistic in certain areas. Because now that some shows get rescued by streaming services, they expect that other things should follow suit, but it doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
But The Expanse, it's in the future, and it's what would have at this point. I think it's in the, I want to see, the 31st century. And so Earth has colonized Mars and one of the belts of Saturn, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so, but so now there's civil war between these three.
Of course.
So there's a lot going on, a lot of stuff happening, and I have found it to be pretty good.
Awesome.
But it's not one of those shows I binge watch. It's one of those that, like, I think I watch like an episode or two a week, maybe, because I really like it. But I don't like. It's not like I want to just devour it. My 20s was all for the devouring of things. Now I think I like to savor.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's why
I'm like Kirby.
I know I don't. That's why I don't mind the like WandaVisions being every week episode, and Captain and Winter, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Loki. They were all every week. You know, I didn't mind that because it gives you something to look forward to every week. And there's something about that, I think, especially for our generation, because we are the kids of Nickelodeon and the WB and stuff, and the commercial break, and then the cliffhanger that made us wait summer.
I'm so mad.
Especially when it came to Buffy cliffhangers.
Yeah. You know which one I'm mad about, though. You know what I'm talking about.
I do. Are you speaking of the very important cliffhanger from Buffy?
Yeah. No.
Oh.
I'm talking about a recent show that we both watched. He's my favorite character ever.
Oh, you're talking about Loki?
Yes.
Oh, but you have no idea what's about to happen.
No, I don't.
I'll tell you if it's not when it's not recording, so it's not spoiler full. Because
that's why I was trying to be like super vague, but like that doesn't help our listeners or watchers at all, because then I just sound crazy.
Well, but that they expect that of you at this point.
I hope so.
All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to Be Fair, a podcast hosted by Ehryn
and me, Lisa. Yeah.
That's how it goes, yo. See you next time.
Peace.